Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in sunny Washington, D.C., with my old friend Todd Harrison of CSIS, who mines all budgetary and missile defense and vertical lift and just about everything else, and is also a member of our podcast team. Todd, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for coming over. Glad to have you.
And who do we have here? I think that's Gabe Call, isn't it? Isn't he one of your research associates?
Gabe Call is a research associate here in our international security program, and he is actually the brains behind this new online tool that we developed.
And that's the reason why you have this rather unusual video that's being shot at CSIS. So, Todd, tell us a little bit about, but in all seriousness, you have been questing after budget tools. You did it at your old place, CSBA. There was a budget analysis tool that you built there, was also adopted by CSIS and a number of the other leading think tanks to do all sorts of trade-off calculations at the time when we had the imposition of the Budget Control Act.
That's right. Which is enforced by sequestration. We always have this debate on what to call it. Well, and so what we have here is a new piece of work where we're basically trying to make something easier for people who look at the defense budget. So one of the challenges is every year when the budget is presented to Congress, we get these documents, these detailed budget documents, and it's literally thousands of pages and dozens of PDF files. And in there, you can see line by line at the program element and project line level, you can see the funding that's projected, what's anticipated over the FYDP. And the problem, though, is it's very hard to get all that data and to easily access it and to aggregate it and use it for analysis. So what Gabe did is he wrote a script that went through all those PDF documents and stripped the data out to put it in a database form and then built this data visualization tool where people can easily go in there, find what they want, and make graphs out of it, and we've opened it up to the public.
This is something, Gabe, that I don't often do. But I'm going to hand you the microphone. And why don't you walk us through, which I'm sure many people in the audience are going, well, that's about time. But why don't you walk us through where people have to go in order to be able to access it, right? Because this is an online tool. It's not like they have to subscribe through the mail or anything. And walk us through what some of the things that you're showing, for example, comparison here of FYDPs, which is something that we discuss all the time, right? Is what actually was adopted as opposed to what was proposed. And also I have a couple of follow-up questions on where, with what fidelity do you guys do this so that we can follow the process as we go through the process. For example, where is the House appropriations mark? Where is the Senate authorization mark? So here you go.
So what we did about a year ago is start to develop tools to make it easier to understand defense investments and to plan for defense investments. So we started with federal contracting. We've been using the federal procurement data system quite a bit. We also developed a naval shipbuilding tool, and this is essentially our third tool that we're releasing to the public. So if you go to Defense 360, you can see a list of the apps that we currently have available. And this is located on analytics.csis.org/FYDP. So the user gets an opening page which gives you a top line of the FYDP, just a very macro picture of what it looks like right now. You can see the presidential budget request for 2018. You can narrow down and select which service you might be interested. So you could be looking at Army, RDT&E, or you could simply look at Navy, Air Force, procurement. So there's a lot of flexibility there, but we also wanted to give our users the ability to dive deep into analysis that we typically don't make part of our reports. So they can do the deep dive here. You have the ability to look at the sub-activity level. And again, there's a lot of options. And then you can really narrow down to the line item and the program element level. And as one example, I can just type in long-range strike bomber. And the user's got it right there. So that's one example. We actually had a colleague of mine who is in the international security program recently left a consulting group, and one of his responsibilities was to look at the V-22 funding for the FYDP. So we released this last Wednesday. The task before that probably would have taken him 10 or 15 minutes. Instead, he was able to use this tool and get the information he needed in about 5 seconds. So that's an example of what we think the tool will be useful for.
Thanks very much, Gabe. I appreciate it. Todd, thank you very much. Looks like it's a fascinating tool that I hope everybody uses.
Yeah, so just go to our website, defense360.csis.org. You can access the tool, play with it, and let us know what you think.
And then on the weekly podcast, we expect you to ruthlessly flog this every week.
Okay, we will.
Guys, thanks very much.
Thanks, Vago.